Now we have another video message. This is Miss Virsa Perkins. She is the Charge d'Affaires for Economy and Political Affairs from the US Consulate in Chennai. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here physically, so I had a video interaction with her just to look at what possibilities and what India and the US can do together in the scope and field of sustainability. And I'm happy to say that she gave some very specific projects, and also all these video messages and whatever you hear today will be online, so you can see it later, pause when you hear the scheme, the project, the area of collaboration, Google that area of collaboration and see how you can connect with any of the stakeholders and to see what you can do together. So maybe we can have the next video. This is Ms. Virsa Perkins from the US Consulate, Political and Economic Chief.
So good morning, Ms. Perkins. It's so nice to.
Good morning,
Ms.
Perkins.
Digitally.
It's so nice to
Here's
join you
my first
digitally.
question.
Here's my first question as we enter day 2 of the India Advantage Summit with the theme Cities for Sustainability. Ms. Perkins, as the political and economic chief for the US Consulate in Chennai, how deep and strong do you think and do you see is the interconnection between sustainability and economic interest? And also, given that, you know, in COP26 that was recently concluded, there was a call for greater political capital to drive financial resources towards sustainability.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and greetings to all the delegates at day 2 of the 5th edition of the India Advantage Summit in Bengaluru. I'm sorry that I could not be there in person, but I'm happy that I could be with you virtually. And I'm happy to see such active discussions on sustainability in tech and cities for sustainability. To answer your question, thank you very much for your question. And I would say that the two ideas are often deeply connected because on the most pressing global issues, identifying and enacting real sustainable solutions advance all of our economic interests. COP26 was a perfect example. The climate crisis is already here alongside COVID-19. This is not a challenge for future generations. We must confront it today and prepare for a safer future. We are already seeing increased investment in decarbonization and adaptation technology around the world, driving an economic transition that is already beginning to deliver sustainability and new jobs in both of our countries. The private sector is at the core of this transition, and beyond our government-to-government efforts, our country's ability to draw in private sector participation will hasten this process and deliver more benefits to people in both of our countries.
Great. I think, that's a very good and positive start. It's important that, there's enough financial muscle behind initiatives that we take, and we need to go together and not alone. So the private and government have to work together to enable sustainability solutions as we go forward. You know, the other thing that interests me is for the first time, we have a presidential envoy for climate. And, Senator John Kerry has been extremely active, and he seems very committed. And, he has gone on a whirlwind tour, meeting world leaders and telling him, we have to listen to science. This article I saw in the New York Times recently. Given this context that, he has also been to India and they have met at senior levels with our government, how do you see all this enabling the India-US commitment for addressing jointly climate-related challenges?
Thank you for that question. The world's race against climate change, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. COP26 in Glasgow has concluded, And in recent months, both of our countries have set more targets to expand the use of renewable energy and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But the truth is, more ambition is needed. As two world leading nations, I'm confident we will work even more closely together at the government, private sector, and person-to-person level to accelerate decarbonization. The newly created U.S.-Indian Clean Energy and Finance Mobilization Dialogue is an example of such efforts, and USAID's new South Asia Regional Energy Partnership, which seeks to create an enabling environment for greater private sector engagement in clean and renewable energy, will allow for implementation of many of these efforts.
Excellent. I can already see some, specific programs. This means that there is a concrete plan. And of course, we all agree that more needs to be done. But I'm happy that there are a few concrete ideas on which work has already started. And I'm sure that going forward, we will build on this together. Thank you so much for, bringing those two programs. Especially, it's good for our audience to know of these projects and initiatives. Maybe some of them could join these projects and initiatives. I have to say that we met in Bangalore earlier, and having met you in person, I realized that, you are deeply passionate about inclusion and diversity, and also girls in STEM. One part of my question is, how important are these initiatives? And second part is, can you share some of these initiatives that, you were part of, maybe also earlier in your assignment before you came to India? Because, sometimes there is this thought that the next breakthrough innovation in climate science and climate tech could be from this diverse knowledge pool. The human capital could find the solution, and especially the young people and the young generation of today, if they're able to collaborate, there could be some amazing solutions. So I want you to share these two things, the programs that you worked with in STEM and diversity and encouraging STEM, and give us some insight. So if some of our founders and audience here would like to get into this, then they will find the right initiatives or projects.
Well, thank you very much for that question. I have a lot to say on this topic. U.S. strength is built on our nation's wide range of societal, political, geographic, economic, and educational identities. And STEM is key to expanding the knowledge needed for breakthrough innovations. Here in India, USAID is working continuously to expand its coalition of partners. Governments, the private sector, multilateral and regional bodies, and locally established entities promoting equity, increasing diversity, and fostering inclusion in all their development programs. As I mentioned, the South Asia Regional Digital Inclusion Activity specifically targets women and youth by working through community organizations and women entrepreneurs. In October, for example, USAID and the State Department launched the Alliance for Women's Economic Empowerment with the U.S.-India Strategic Partnership Forum and George Washington University. The State Department partners with the Indo-U.S. Science and Technology Forum for the Indo-U.S. Fellowship for Women in STEM that provides leading Indian female scientists with access to U.S. academia and laboratories. Here in Chennai, the U.S. Consulate has hosted several programs highlighting women in STEM. In July, Bengaluru-born NASA 2020 Mars Guidance and Controls Operations led Swati Mohan. She shared her experience and path to NASA with over 100,000 young Indians online as part of our Diaspora Dialogue series. Dr. Mohan served as an inspiring role model for girls to pursue space as a career and an icon of Indian American diasporic success in the United States. We also nominated influential women in the STEM field to join our various exchange programs. For example, in 2008, we nominated Miss Nanditha Jayaraj, a freelance journalist and co-founder of The Life of Science, based in Bengaluru, to participate in our International Visitors Leadership Program entitled Advancing Women in STEAM Fields. When she returned, she conducted a workshop at Manipal University on the need for women to study and pursue STEM fields. Earlier this year, we nominated Dr. Vani Vijay, managing partner of Vidyuti Energy Services, to attend the Expo 2020 Fellows Program in Dubai. Dr. Vijay, an energy technology expert, is another excellent example of women in STEM spearheading innovation in India.
Excellent. I think, thank you so much for bringing those specific cases and names. It's nice when we hear these individual names to know that actually the projects and programs are making impact and specific impact. And, I was inspired that 100,000 people joined, for the space initiation program. And this is really amazing because when young people have a spark and passion lit up, and I'm sure that can create a much brighter and better future for all of us together. Thank you so much, Ms. Perkins. I think it has been amazing, these few minutes of interaction. Like the TIA Summit is a summit where the speeches are short. So we will end this interaction here. And if you have any final words and for the delegates, the floor is yours.
Just to say thank you for having me, and I look forward to traveling to Bengaluru again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
So please Google some of those projects. There are some specific areas of collaboration, fellowship, where some Indian scientists could travel. And this kind of opportunities are available also with the German side, with the Swiss side, with the American side. And I think the more people are able to interact, connect, and collaborate, more new ideas will be born.